Hmm. Not sure if I'm on yet. Oh, I am on. Oh, I am on. Lobby. Oh, I am on. Lobby. Good morning, traders. Good morning, traders. Good morning, traders. The chart is. Good morning, Andeep. The chart is Thinkorswim, and the scanners is Trade Ideas. Good morning, Andeep. The chart is Thinkorswim, and the scanners is Trade Ideas. Good morning, Andeep. The chart is Thinkorswim, and the scanners is Trade Ideas. Good morning, Andeep. The chart is Thinkorswim, and the scanners is Trade Ideas.
LLNW.
Test.
LLNW.
Test.
LLNW. LLNW.
So I'm not making this mistake twice this time. I'm going to be talking to YouTube and the Discord app. So I'm not making this mistake. If you guys
this
on YouTube want to the Discord app have less latency or lag, because YouTube tends to have lag of 30 seconds to 2 minutes, you can get on the Discord app. Or check out newbietrading.com. It's free, and go into the chat room, and I'm live there as well. newbietrading.com. It's free, and go into the chat room, and I'm live there as well. It's free, and I'll try my best to show you on the chart when I'm possibly trading. I'll try my best to show you on the chart when I'm on the right hand right here. I have the my trade idea scanners. On the right hand right here, the first two on the left are the ones that I'm mostly using, as well as the small caps. These are counter trends. First two on the left are the ones, and then these two right here. This one, and this one is for the ones that are ripping up and down. And this one is for
LLNW.
up and down. And this one is for
LLNW.
So if you have any questions, just PM me. I don't want to clutter the chat.
LLNW.
So if you have any questions, just PM me. I don't want to clutter the chat.
LLNW.
So if you have any questions, just PM me. I don't want to Yesterday was a pretty stressful day. Well, with that one. So I'm probably going to be trading pretty light today. Yesterday was a pretty stressful day. Well. So I'm probably going to be trading pretty light today. Yesterday was a pretty... so what I generally do is switch between 1 minute, 5 minute. See how clean the 5 minutes are right here? What I generally do is switch and how the volume is rising. 5 minute. See how clean the 5 minutes are right here? What I generally do is switch and how the volume is rising. And then the 15 minute gives me a general idea of where the possible area of trend is. And then the 15 minutes, kind of hard to see
LLNW.
all the possible strategies trend is. So here's another 15 minutes.
LLNW.
Let's blink. See how it touches right here, kind of. So here's another 15 minutes. Zoom out a little bit. See how it touches right here, kind of. Here's another 15 minutes. Zoom out a little bit. And the daily is right here. Generally, I don't like trading something that is, well, this one's well below yesterday's candle, so. Generally, I don't like trading something LLNW. Well, this one's well below. Looks interesting. Generally, I don't like trading something LLNW. Well, this one's well below. Looks interesting. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay. Good morning. Hey, Lindsay. Good morning.
LLNW.
So I'll be streaming as long as I can keep my composure.
LLNW.
So I'll be streaming as long as I can. I don't like wearing caps, honestly. But I didn't do my hair.
LLNW.
This is
INSG.
COVID life. Wearing caps, honestly. But I didn't do my hair.
LLNW.
So it could come down here.
INSG.
You guys see how it touches this area? So it could come down here.
INSG.
You guys see how it touches this area? So it's not that far away. It could be in. It could turn around in time.
INSG.
And there is that volume spike I'm looking for. See that volume right there? A huge amount of volume is that volume spike I'm looking for. See that volume right there? A huge amount of volume is that volume spike I'm looking for. See that volume right there? A huge amount of volume is volume spike I'm looking for. So I'm gonna put this away right now. Now this is where my strategies come into play. There are two lines. Well, you see probably now 4 lines, but there are 2 main lines. There are two lines. The blue line is the one you should be looking at, or is the one I look at least. The blue line is the one you should be looking at, or is the one I look at least.
INSG.
Blue line is the one you should be looking at, or is the one I look at.
INSG.
I go to the 5-minute chart.
LLNW.
For each candle, it represents 5 minutes, and I look at the blue line. So this is the 90 and the
LLNW.
9 minute, 9 exponential moving average, 9 minute exponential moving average, and
LLNW.
9 minute, 9 exponential moving average. It's going down nicely.
LLNW.
And he's asking, you're watching the YouTube in the lobby? And he's watching the sharing of the YouTube stream in the lobby, hearing your voice twice.
LLNW.
Eddie, you're watching the stream?
LLNW.
Maybe not watch the YouTube. Eddie, you're watching the stream and just watch the Discord.
LLNW.
Maybe not watch the YouTube. I think just watch the Discord.
LLNW.
Maybe not watch the YouTube. I think just watch the Discord.
LLNW.
I see. I see. I have one person saying that he hears an echo of me. I have one person saying that he hears an echo of me. Oh, interesting. I have one person saying that he hears an echo of me. Oh, watching. You're watching. You're watching. Oh, hold on one second, guys. He's watching the wrong. Oh, hold on one second, guys. He's watching the wrong. Oh, hold on one second, guys. He's watching the wrong. Oh, my live stream. My live stream. I'm back in the lobby. Alright, is that better? I think you guys were looking at the wrong screen. Alright, is that better? I think you guys were looking at the wrong screen. Alright, is that better? I think you guys were looking at the wrong screen. Thank you, Eddie, for fixing that for me. You were on one of my. Thank you, Eddie. I accidentally shared the wrong screen on the Discord app. You were on one of my. I accidentally shared the wrong screen on the Discord app.
Something you say over
You
and
were
over
on
and soft
one
and
of my.
soft.
I accidentally shared the wrong screen on the Discord app. Right now,
Something you say over
Eddie says it's fine. Right now, Eddie says it's fine. Okay, how is it now, Tanner? I'm not sure why there's an echo. Let me see. Let me check my settings. But I have to have this YouTube up.
To help homes stay comfortable during this difficult time, Ashley Home Store has cut prices on top styles. Click the link to shop.
Okay.
Stay comfortable during this difficult time. Ashley Home Store has cut prices on top styles. Click the link to shop.
Okay.
Stay comfortable during this difficult time. Ashley Home Store has cut prices on top styles. Click the link to shop. Stay comfortable during this difficult.
Alright, I'm using Attilio.
thing.
What's that?
Your Ashley Home Store is looping, echoing.
Ashley Home Store?
Yeah, there is a commercial for Ashley Home Store.
Shit. It seems that if I have my YouTube up, you can still hear it?
Yes.
How about now? My wife is talking to me. She's telling me that, yeah, I have the screen muted. Okay, thanks, Tanner. It's possibly because Discord and YouTube have a latency, or it's YouTube mainly. So I have to choose between the two. That's first time for me. So you can see LLNW had that one spike, and it didn't see. didn't seem to go the way you would want it to. Okay. So on this chart, I have the blue line, that's the 9 EMA, exponential moving average, and the purple line is the VWAP. And these are the bars that go with it. What do they call it? Upper and lower band. Stoichiometric, I think. I'm not quite in it yet, Shanawaz. But it does look good right now. It's not clean the way it moved. Maybe if I go to the 2 minute, and that's why I keep changing time frames. Because if I look at the 1 minute, it's not clean the way it moved. Let me guys show you without all the stuff. So here's the daily, and it could have went down to here, but it didn't. The 15s is very pretty. Look at that, and I think it's moving now. And here are the 5s. And now a trigger on 5s would be over 630 right here. This is a 630, so anything over 630 would be a trigger on the 5s, if you ever hear me say that. And the 2s, so the 2s look a little bit dirtier because of this candle right here, and it got rejected, and then it needs to climb back up. So a small entry would be nice, and then having a stop at the low, and it doesn't look bad, but in relation to the SPY right here, let me go back to the 1 minute so we can see candle to candle. SPY is moving up, and this thing is still questioning its movement. So you guys know how I take the SPY and I use it as the wind, and the wind is blowing up, but this thing is hesitant, which means there are still some traders thinking it should go lower, and that makes me hesitant as well. So the best test, in my opinion, especially when it's earlier in the morning like right now, is that it goes against, no matter what, it has enough conviction to move without the wind. So if the wind's blowing up and it really wants to go down, then that means it's pretty strong on the down movement. And if SPY decides to go red, and that thing will most likely shoot down. So right now, how it's green, and SPY is printing a little bit of red. Now it's turning green again. It should go if SPY has enough conviction. So right now it's really hesitant. So if you do trade it, trade small. I mean, it's not something. It's definitely something I would be interested in any other day. But it being Friday, and me having a pretty rough day yesterday, I'm not going to risk it. That's the psychology of trading, right? Let me show you guys. What day was it yesterday? 16th. So this was yesterday, and you can see some really big red tickers here, and both of them were banks, and that's when you really have to reassess. I was still up about over 1,000, but this is not something to be proud about. So I'm not really proud about my performance yesterday, regardless. Roku saved my day, saved my butt. But I did enough gambling yesterday, more or less. So this is what I do, guys. I keep looking at this scanner, and then this scanner, and the small cap scanner. It's 10:30 right now, so we already have we're at our fourth 15-minute candle. I have no idea why JPN was even on my... Everything's kind of going up, not very clean right now. It is typical Friday. Unless there's a really good reason for traders to be interested in something moving one direction. We're not going to, you know. Is LLNW actually working? LLNW? You know, it's not, I don't know if it's ready. The way it moved like that, you may say it went, and it did go if you're a scalper, but to me that may have took me out. So I hope you guys are doing well. It looks like COVID is dying off a little bit. I gotta tell you, this lifestyle is not working for me. Wow, that's awesome, Schnauas. I hope I'm saying your name right. Shanawaz, by the way, are you on the Discord app? Are you in Newbie Trading? Regardless, it's all good. I'll just try to stream more often, because I have a lot of people on the Discord app that wants the recording of this, and I can only record one screen at a time. So I'm using the opportunity to use the YouTube to record my scanners and record my actual trading for myself. That's cool. Less clutter for you. Unless you, yeah, we probably have different trading styles, but awesome. So if you look at the 5 minute here, LLNW looks good. It just needs to break over this 6.3. And then if you have the stop down here at 620, I would probably set it lower because of the daily. So it's about to test the 630 area. And there it goes. So for me, my potential area of reward is around the 644. Or I always look at the 5 minute right here, the 642. So entry on fives would have been at the 628, 620 over the 627 area. And that was a good solid move because SPY wasn't exactly, well, hold on 1 second. We're not in the 1 minute here. There we go. So guys, whenever I'm talking to the newer traders, whenever you say something like, man, I wish I could have got in on it, try, and this is from personal experience, try not to think that way, because when you start wishing you were in a trade or feeling a little frustrated that you missed out, a lot of times you end up looking for that, stalking or hunting for a trade, and you get more, itchy fingers and start finding anything. At least that's for me. So I'm always trying to sit back and let the trade come to me. So if you miss out, and you'll see me in the live stream get frustrated as well, and that's why I need to walk away, because it's just human nature. But we need to assess our psychology. Polyus asks, do you look for trend downs, consolidations, and shown strength, then you buy? Also, do you watch volume? I watch volume a lot. In fact, volume is the key to my entries on a counter trend. At the moment, I don't really share my other strategies that you'll see on my scanners here. So if there's earnings and it's a gapper, then I may do the morning trade, but I don't really share that because I'm probably at a 70 percentile when it comes to that. I think most people are, because it moves so volatile, especially right now. So at the moment, with so many people following me, I only focus on a counter trend, and that seems to be, at the moment, other than yesterday, may have brought it down a bit, but I'm usually over 90 percentile with that one. That's my trading style. So yeah, putting that into consideration, I am a little bit different in trading style, but it is what I suggest for most beginners. I do look for consolidation. So basically, my counter trend is compounded. It's not just a typical reversal, because the reversal could be an easy scalp as well. I look for something that hit daily highs. You can find a resistance on the highs or the lows on the daily chart. So it's compounded because you see something that's parabolic. You see extreme volume coming in. You also see it hitting a daily resistance, in which case, even if it doesn't go down the way you want it to, it's going to fade and consolidate and most likely fade. So, and you're watching for that volume to dissipate. So a lot of ways, it's compounded
STT.
to a degree that it gives you a greater chance of success, in my opinion. But yes, volume is the most important thing. NCS said LLNW not tradable on TEFs. It's not. Yeah, it's not. A lot of them. There are a lot of tickers not tradable. A lot of Nasdaq stocks. The four syllables or 5 syllables. Police ask, so Albert, can you learn us to trade, or can you teach us to trade? It seems you cannot share strategy. I have the strategy. I have a beginner strategy series that I just started last week. I'll probably post another one sometime this week, today or tomorrow. I'm going to the series is basically about me teaching you all how to trade exactly how I trade. Some of you guys may know that in the past hold on one second. SCT looks pretty good. $0.10 spread. This one looks pretty good, guys. Let me look at the daily chart. Okay, here. Take a look. The daily chart right here. It went down to here. So, of course, I would be very worried about this area, the 56. That's far away, though, so it's reversing. Probably take some. Right. Okay. This thing has a 10-cent spread, guys. So right now, the SPY is going down. This is the 2-minute chart, by the way. See how it holds up. It's good. I'm not gonna play around, guys. My stop is not gonna be at the low. Let's set it at the 5780s area. This is the wind again. Here, take a look. SPY is going down hard right now. And this also affects stops. If you see the SPY like pushing down hard, then you have to give it some room. Don't like that. Polly's asked, I want a private lesson. Maybe someday I'll do some private coaching. But then that actually takes a lot of effort, you know? If that's what I end up having to do as a career, then sure, I'll look into teaching privately. But currently I'm still a dog trainer. But because due to this scenario that we're in, I'm not taking any clients right now. Any dogs, that is. That's why I decided to pick up trading so on social media again, because I have the time. This one's so dirty. Okay, I'm out of this one. I'm not gonna play with this one. I may revisit it for another entry. That makes me sad. It's okay. And yet another good reason for me to trade small today. Tilly asks, why did I exit STT? Because of the spreads. And it just broke down those. Really, Tanner? Was STT a bank? State Street. Ah. Oh, JP. And SCT actually. State Street was a bank as well. There goes, there, see? I even said that yesterday, guys. On the Discord app, I said note to self. Don't expect banks to bounce. And, and it got me again. Yeah, I should have done some more research. I just don't have luck with sectors that are getting hit hard. And of course, that makes complete sense. You're not going to want to trade something with a sector that got hit hard. So, yeah, if you guys didn't know, if you guys didn't see earlier, this was yesterday, and even though it was a green day, I generally don't have reds this big, and both of them were banks. So, I told myself I'm not going to be trading any banks, and and that's why it's a good idea to always have friends to save your butt, or at least help you with your own strategy. But again, that was more of a compounded movement, right? There's still a chance of it actually coming back. And I think it is right now, isn't it? So it's up to you if you want to go through that kind of chop. But it's Ruth says both of them start with W. Yeah, stay away from all the W's. That's another note. And the ones that only have 3 letters. Attilio asked, should make some videos on the dog training. I do have my own little channel for my dog training. It's how I get my clients. It is awfully quiet today. I hate to say it, but I kind of miss when coronavirus was hitting us hard, because those were some really crazy days when Trade Ideas was shouting out tickers every minute. But right now it's been over 13 minutes since the last ticker. Here you go, Tilio. Here's a video of one of my dogs 3 years ago. Right now he's stationed at my parents', guarding them. There's a nice move right there in STT. That was a really strong move. Look at that. So the first time it didn't go, and then it went down to here. So let's see why. Let's try to figure out why it did that. Let's look in the daily. So it went all the way down to here, and didn't quite match the bottom, but it got awfully close, and it actually did get to here. So just trying to find a reason. A lot of times they try to get to an area, so it did try to get to this area, but it got so far extended down, in my opinion, that it had to come back up. So that was a really nice move. It got shot back down and came back up, and Here's the volume signal for a 15-minute chart at least. In 5-minute, it was choppy. So, yeah. And it's coming up to a nice little resistance area right here. I don't ever try to look for home runs. But this, you can see how there's some resistance in this area. Right now it's down to, yeah, right here. So you would expect it to struggle a little bit at this point. So the more people I have watching me trade, the more conservative I become. I like to call it looking for that unicorn. It needs to be a perfect setup. In which case, you limit a lot of chances and opportunities. When I'm not being watched, I go a little bit more wild. But I'm also more risky. So I prefer days that I don't take any excessive risk. I was telling my wife the other day, I prefer a $200 day than the $1,000 day I had yesterday, because of the amount of risk that I took. It just wasn't worth it. Because that actually makes your future look a little more bleak, because of how risky you were. Eddie took work. Yeah, it did kind of work, didn't it? Work did work. It almost went to the 9 AMA. So a lot of you guys had a lot of questions about my scanner parameters based on the videos that you watched on, and you guys understand. The ones that ask is generally the ones that understand how important it is to have the right stock to trade. So maybe later on tonight I'll complete a video on the scanners for you. I know Thinkorswim, especially E-Trade, they all have their own scanners. So when I share with you the Trade Idea scanner, if you do have trade ideas, just find me or email me and I'll try to send you a file, or get on the Discord app. That's actually even better. Get on Jeremy Newby's channel and I'll send you my scanners. I don't charge for that. Just like and subscribe. But other than that, it would be awesome if some of you guys can actually try to replicate, if you like my scanners, try to replicate it into your Thinkorswim, because then a lot of people will be saving a lot of money due to your, your ingenuity. But honestly, I don't think you can replicate. You can get close, but you can't replicate, because Trade Ideas has some interesting formulas. Attilio asks, can your trade idea scanners be replicated into Thinkorswim? And that's basically what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't think so. Even though I use Thinkorswim, I only use it for charting. And when I started using TradeNet for for my friends and family, I wanted to make sure that the level 2 was similar, because I've heard how CFDs altered the level 2s into their advantage, and I haven't seen that. So that to me is at the moment a myth. And the tape, the time and sales. So I want to, and the charting, especially the charting, because even Lightspeed, the charting on Lightspeed is better than than TradeNet's, but Thinkorswim's charting is better than TradeNet's. So I'll use confirmation off Thinkorswim. But I digress. I don't know how. I'm not very proficient with Thinkorswim's scanners to know how to put it in, and there are a few things I don't think Thinkorswim can do, even though it's so complex. That's what I don't like about it. It's so complicated, and most day trading platforms are bare bones. Probably for a couple of reasons, because when you want to day trade, you want it as simple and ergonomic as possible, and another is you want it to be fast, and you don't want, if fast means it needs to be uncluttered, and Thinkorswim is just overwhelming, a wealth of information. But just to give you an example, here's on this one right here that I narrowed down just to fit. If I show you the strategies right now, it has the ability to have a 5-minute hammer, basically that kind of candle on a 5-minute chart. Other than going down, it also has the ability to identify how many 5-minute consecutive candles there are. So if I want, right now I have it set for 3. So this thing can identify 3 5-minute red candles that are going down. That's another parameter that's set in there. There are a lot. There's even a heartbeat. So instead of using time, it can use movement as a heartbeat, if it's moving at all. So the Trade Ideas is really complicated in that area. So in the video, I'm probably going to suggest, if you want to try it out, then, and you're new in day trading, then try the 2-week free trial first. And if you like it, then maybe use my affiliate code. I only become affiliates to anything that I'm confident with. I'm not going to try to sell you anything that I don't believe in. But Trade Ideas is most likely the thing to use. I've used 3 other scanners, TC2000 and another version of TC2000, and those were great for swing trades. But when I wanted something fast, then I would use Trade Ideas. And I use the standard. I don't use the premium with the artificial intelligence. They gave me that option, and I didn't know how to use it. Either I didn't know how to use it, or it just didn't work for me as a day trader. So why spend the extra money, you know? I can't believe it's been 20 minutes since, over 20 minutes, and still nothing showing up on my scanner. And you know, you can kind of tell that SPY, what's going on with SPY. You know, one of the most common questions I get, because from people that don't know day trading, they'll say, why are you trading right now? The market's tanking. Man, I have no idea if we're red or green for the day, honestly. It doesn't matter when you're a day trader. So we're red for the day. And looks like it hit down here. Maybe coming up back to VWAP. Shnawaz says you're a real technician. Thanks. Thanks, Shnawaz. I know what I know, but so many other people know so much more because I'm a math teacher. I'm not a economics or a finance major. Some people on the Discord app, Newbie Trading, like Double Dip, he's an economics minor, I think, or he tends to give some really good information. So sometimes being in a chat room is a good thing. I'm in it because I'm friends with Jeremy Newbie. If you think my numbers are good, you should see his. But he has some really good friends, including, well, I think that I would call them my friends as well. Double Dip is pretty knowledgeable when it comes to economics. Alex asked Friday volume drop off early sometimes. Yeah. So, I mean, the closer, right now in Texas is 11. And, I mean, it's 10. It's 11 over there. It's almost lunchtime. After lunch, everybody's probably getting drunk. That's the COVID life, right? You're probably drinking throughout the day. So yeah, Fridays are generally like this. I don't even have level 2 subscribe in my trading. Wow. I don't even think level 2 is necessary when you swing trade. I'm not entirely sure your strategy, Shnawaz, but you did mention that you held something overnight. Yeah, I think level 2 is something I never looked at when I used to swing trade when I was in high school. Yeah, oh, well, you do use price action. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Use indicators as well. The indicators help for me to execute a trade. Volume is the most important thing in my opinion. I'm sure you would agree as well. Alex says some traders come back for a power hour. Yeah, you do. Especially if something went, completely wrong throughout the entire day. And I talk about sometimes making the perfect candle. And if SPY is just flopping all around the place like a dying fish, then traders are gonna see it eventually when they come back from drinking or eating their lunch, and we're gonna have to fix that candle the way we think it's supposed to look like, I think. Oshnava says he doesn't have indicators. That's awesome. I'm the same way, Oshnava. I don't like all this right here, honestly. I may just use the 9-minute EMA, and then generally my chart is blank with volume. But you probably see my other videos. I do use the level 2 to see where I think I should exit. It's also dead in the Discord app. So guys, if you haven't already and you like how we trade, this is a chat room more or less for like-minded people. It's called Newbie Trading. You can probably find it here under Newbie Trading. And he does have a featured course, not yet. We're still talking about that. But the chat room's free, subject to change. But right now it's free. So you just click on that and you'll end up in the chat room. Somebody will invite you and you'll end up in there. In which case, I'm sharing my where did it go? I lost my Discord. Oh, there it is. We'll talk about stuff. And you can PM me, like right over here. I'm talking to Forker. Forker is really knowledgeable on pivots, on something called real pivots. We also have Elisa. She talks about the power of pivots. We got Alpine Trader. If you guys haven't seen him on YouTube in the past, he's here as well. So more or less, if we see something, then we're going to say something. But if we don't see anything, like right now, nobody's saying anything, except for me, because I don't like awkward silence. Cynthia with Rose. My goodness. Problem with level 2. Now it says problem level 2, it looks good until you go to sell it. They all cancel the bid and drop the price fast. Real pivot? Yeah, real pivots. Let me see. Woo, let me see what I can find for you. Had a friend share with me his pivots. Where is he? Real pivots. This is kind of cool. He shared this with me the other day. And it's a PDF of finding real pivots high and lows. And he shows you how to correctly use them as support and resistance lines. And you can kind of skim through it, see how when it breaks through it becomes an area of resistance before it was support. It's kind of straightforward, but it's nice to have just to understand certain areas and how it should work. And if you see him, his name is Forker on the Discord app. He used to teach this, and it seems to work for him really well. Elijah asked, can you share that PDF? Yeah, I can. Either go on my Gmail. And hopefully I'll answer. That you just saw a little bit of it. It was pretty cluttered. Or you can just find me on the Discord app. If you go on the Discord, you have a better chance. Just PM me, private message me, and I'll just send you the PDF through there. But this, you could try this. Oh. All right. Maybe just delete this then. Wait, that's funny. I was about to report myself. Okay, hold on a second. Elijah was just asking for me to share the PDF, and then I didn't realize I was already talking to him on the Discord app. No, hold on a second. Let's download it. And Emilio, if you're watching this, thank you for the PDF. You're helping a lot of people out. So this PDF is from Amelia, or Forker, aka Forker on Discord. Still quiet. Info? Still nothing, guys. Otherwise, you would hear her talking to me. Because those are real prices. That's a good question. That's a really good question, Elijah, about the limit price and how frustrating or confusing it can be with about the level 2. So I'll be sure to cover that in the near future. Is there a link? Eddie's asking, is there a link? Yeah, just go to newbietrading.com and there's a click to join the chat. Roku was the big winner for me yesterday. It's dying. Yeah, look at that. This is real choppy. I don't like that at all. I'm gonna call this Setup 2020 COVID. This I remember. Google asked Discord server having issues? I don't think so. What kind of issues, Boo, are you referring to on the Discord app? You guys be sure to thank Emilio, that's Forker, for the Finding the Real Pivots PDF. He's the one that shared it with me. Good stuff. No response. Oh, when you joined the chat room, when you clicked on joining the chat room, there was no response. I guess there's some kind of robotic admin that would sign you in, I think. Shinawa is still in LNW? Ouch. Okay, so now that looks like something I was familiar with on a daily right here. Yeah, it's trying to, it's in that area between here and down here. So worst case scenario, that is quite a red candle, isn't it? This is a really strong point right here, you can tell. I don't want to jinx you, Schnaues, but that's what I see. But where you're at right now, possibly, you can see that right there as well. And volume is climbing a little bit. That's just my perspective. But yeah, see, I mean, it's you know, it's up to you. It's Friday. So you got this. Woo, let me know when you get into the Discord. I don't think there should be a problem. Seriously, guys. Haven't had a single announcement from my trade ideas since 1040. And that's not a bad thing. I'll be mentioning that in the next video about the scanner parameters as well. But I can talk about it right now since there's nothing else to do. Because the scanners are fine-tuned to what I'm looking for. A lot of you guys know that platforms have something called a high-low ticker, and the high-low ticker will just streaming give you everything that's hitting high a day, low a day. Every time something's moving and it just goes at one tick up, then it's going to show up on that high-low ticker. And when you're stalking or hunting for a trade, you're always going to have the opportunity to click on that thing and to see or assess if it's something you think it's going to break through or counter. You know, the problem with that is once you get into that mindset, for my own personality, as somebody who's pretty proactive and competitive, you end up in that mental state where you want to hunt, and you start attacking everything you see, especially right now. Right now I'm just wondering where all the trades are at. But the thing is, over time you start learning that to entrust your parameters. At least I had these parameters for over 10 years now, I think. So it gets to a point where I really trust it, and if it doesn't say anything, then there really isn't anything worth trading, more or less, unless someone in the chat room shouts out something. Because I also have a price limit, so sometimes Tesla will be going and I won't see it because I don't have my price set that high for Tesla. But 50 shares on Tesla can actually do some damage. But the thing is, instead of using the high-low tickers and then setting your mindset to attack everything you see, you have your scanner set so narrow that it really helps you out, helps you find the ideal setups, and that is, in my opinion, about 30% of success. And then the other bit of success is how to execute and exit. Exiting is really hard for a lot of people that don't like failing in life. That's basically every man and woman, I guess, a competitive woman. You have to get over the fact that you're not going to make an A. You're going to probably make a C in life when it comes to trading, and that means letting things loose. And then the majority of all of that encompasses around the psychology. So if you have to be organic, you have to be able to see things as it is, and you have to work like a machine, which doesn't exist. So if you can figure out how to balance all that out, then you're going to be a pretty good trader. Even though you'll have red days, you'll never have those. You'll never fail boat, because you are a machine at your exits. you never broke any rules because psychology, because you were always in a proper mind state, more or less. Taxi Emile is saying that there's a 30-second delay. That's actually not bad. Alpine mentioned that there's sometimes a 2-minute delay sometimes if the stream goes for too long. And I'm probably going to go pretty soon because there's really nothing going on, and I'll probably get it back on if I see something. Well, Emilio's pivot PDF is getting really popular. Look at NVIDIA. That is a nice move. Who's doing that? Eddie?
USFD.
There we go. There's somebody saying something. NVIDIA's in a good place. If you look at the 15s right here, the volume was ramping for a bit. Right here. It's a little bit dangerous because it didn't quite go all the way down to here. So it's within the previous candle, but just gotta be patient, in my opinion. I will not enter until I see a nice reason to. I really do like the 5s here. Let's see if that correlates with SPY. SPY went up a few, and it went up a few, so it is kind of going with the wind, so we gotta be a little careful. It's getting pushed around a little bit, but it looks good. Okay, USFD. Fat fingers. This one's all outside the band, which means it's pretty overextended. But look at the pre-market here, how it actually went up to 18 months. It did kind of consolidate somewhere around here. It's hard to tell with all these little dots for candles.
LLNW.
But here's a nice area right here. You can tell that it touched here. So, yeah. Just the reason why you wouldn't take it. It would be a good scalp. It would be a good scalp for somebody. So here's just a quick little recap of what happened yesterday. Other than the two banks that never bounced, because you know that sector, including credit cards, were getting hit really hard. I think I made about 1,070. That's quite a bit for me when it comes to only just one stock trade. So here's what happened. If you look at the 1 minute chart, well, first off, well, yeah, I can't show you the daily anymore because it's already messed up due to the. Actually, maybe I can. Let's just start off with the daily here. So this is the daily chart from yesterday, right? This candle right here, and it went up to here. You guys can see how that this high touched a lot of areas, a lot of wicks and a lot of bodies. See how it touched all of these areas here? I mean, it touched 1, 2, 3, 4, not quite that one, 5, trying to draw it as straight as possible. This almost touched here, but it didn't quite. But you guys get the idea. It reached as high as it could at that moment. Now on the 15s, this was kind of tricky because generally I want the first 3 candles to be green, and that's why my scanner parameters don't have 15-minute candles. I have it set for 5-minute candles, 3 consecutive 5-minute candles, because it was surging volume with elevated volume of 125 percentile. So it went down, but then it went, wait, I'm looking at the wrong day, sorry about that. So this is even better, guys. It was this day right here. Look at all these 15-minute candles that it made. And then it went all the way up to here. And you can see the volume kind of ramp. Actually, it was kind of linear, but then it ramped at the very last 15-minute candle. Here's a 5. Right here, this one. It was just ramping. It reset a little bit, ramped. But these little resets don't make up for the amount of movement it went as it went all the way up to here. So on this one I think I took it on a, let's look at the 2s. I may have taken it on 2s. Yeah. So when I saw this volume spike right here, see how there was this large amount of volume right here that was higher than the morning. Usually the morning has the most volume, but for some reason a lot of people were sharing it right here. A lot of people were trading it right here for some reason, and you can tell because that was a very good resistance area on the daily chart. So once it hit that area, which is right here, then people started rethinking the movement, but it was still moving up, right? And so on the 2-minute chart, I guess you could enter on the 1 minute, but because there was, on the 1 minute, things get a little bit more tricky because there's every now and then a red candle. So when I start combining all these 1-minute candles into 2-minute candles, I can see a little bit clearer. So a clean entry would have been right here as it hit that area, and it came back down to here. And then I basically took it all the way down to from 130.89 down to 128 something. This area, you can kind of see it. Usually when I'm about to exit, I look in the 5-minute area. So yeah, 129, and then it went down to here. So I probably took it into 128s. I'll probably know better if I saw my 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart, because that's generally what I use. So yeah, 128 right here, 128.40s. So this to me is very close to a perfect trade. When it ramps up, you can see it. You can see if you've seen my my engagement video for the beginners course, I'm always looking for that wave, that parabolic move that goes straight up, and this one has it, right? You can see it, along with a lot of interest in that area of the movement. So even if you took it out on the 5-minute chart, it would have been a nice move down and to touch the 9 EMA. And that would have been a very conservative move, and it worked out fine. That's what I'm usually looking for every day. I'm not going to divert my attention towards something else that could potentially move, because once you do that, then and you get lucky, then it could potentially move all the time, but it doesn't, and then that's when you kind of mess with your psychology. Yeah, go ahead, Lindsay. I'll send it to you. In fact, I'm just gonna find you and send it to you. Where are you? Right there. before you ask me. Young Money Team 100. That's a cool name. TRNX is great overnight till going all morning, and RTW following. Swing Trader. Cool. Wow. One of those. One of those. I don't know if my Lightspeed has shares for this. So I can't even see this thing. This is a penny stock dream. Pump and dump. Bag holders. Cool. Somebody's having issues with his platform. Okay. LLNW showed up 10 minutes ago again. So I think you're doing better now, right? Yeah. If you average down enough. You hit that area, and this is where the patience comes into play. See how it went down here? It went down to this area that we mentioned earlier. So back in the days, I would call this plan B. Now this is perfect. See how it touched this area, guys? Almost touched it at least. Plan B would be to make sure that you're able to exit the majority of your shares enough to average down towards the perfect place. The perfect place would always be between the support and the 5-minute 9 EMA, because you still want that elasticity. So right now the elasticity is up to 617, and yeah, it's not that much. It's 617 and the low of 605. It's not that bad. I mean, $6 stock. If you had like, I don't know, 4,000 shares, I think he said he did, then you could be okay. You could be, or at least break even. Sometimes being down $100 is not a bad thing when you know that you could have been down $500. It's the psychology of things. But yeah, guys, it looks like it's going really slow. So I'm gonna wait 1 minute for any of you guys to ask me any questions, and then I'm gonna head out. Not out, because we're stuck inside, but off the computer, so I can take this hat off. USFT did make a beautiful move. That parabolic, but the volume wasn't really there. Now it looks like it's curling down. This is actually pretty nice. Whatever this is, US Food Holdings. Rhythm. Sorry, I'm butchering your name. Discovered your channel 1 week ago, and you're by far one of the most useful channels to learn tradings. Oh, no problem. About your English. Thanks, man. I try to be, but it's not. I'm trying to use my teaching skills. But you know, if I can teach a dog to be awesome, I should be able to teach humans. But sometimes the simpler mind you are, the better you are at trading. I remember when I was in high school, I was watching CNBC with my dad, and there was a Playboy Playmate, or Playboy Playmate, a girl, and she was a millionaire trading, and her method of trading was basically finding any brand she thought was awesome, and they actually went up and, or went down depending on the way she did it, and it worked out fine. Not to say that she was stupid, but when they interviewed her, she did not seem like the smartest person, but it worked for her. So, kind of makes you think, like, was she lucky, or maybe simplicity is key? So Ryan asking is, how do you know when to average down? I don't like to average down anymore, but what I used to call plan B is to identify in the chart. So with LLNW, if I look at the daily here, this is obviously a pivot point, right? So maybe just draw that. That's a pivot point. And if we go into the 15-minute, this was a pivot point, right? And then this was a pivot point. So these areas are really important to understand. We're not pivot, but they're support and resistance lines. But I think Forker or Emilio would agree that these are pivot points, I think. But with these areas, you understand that there's going to be some kind of resistance there, and that's where you will decide on where you're going to start averaging. Now, once it breaks a certain area, hopefully you didn't try to enter there. Let's go look in the 5s and see if it would have faked anybody out. No, not really, but it did reset at 5s, time frame wise. So look at that beautiful move down. So of course you're going to assume that it's going to move, but then let's look at the 1s. So it went all the way straight down to here, and this would have faked some people in, and you could have gone out somewhere, but let's see. This should show up on my other chart here. My exits are generally on the 5-minute chart, so it did get really close in it. So if I entered on the 2 minutes, I would have got faked in right there, right? And then it went all the way down, but your stop would have been below here. Let me get closer. Your stop would have been below here, in which case it wouldn't have executed, and then it would have popped up. That's when I will switch over to the 5-minute chart to see how close it gets to the 9 EMA. And you had a split second before it got just kind of close, but it didn't get there. So, and then it shot back down. So I don't know if, honestly, if I took this trade, I would have been green on this one. But it did go down. It wouldn't have hit your stop until it tanked right here. So you would have to acknowledge that you had this pivot here, and it couldn't break through this area, and it started going down. So then it went all the way down, got really close to this one, and it's coming back up. But by that time, the elasticity is gone. So you just have to kind of hope that it wants to come back to this 630. So you would have to average down to here as close as you can, and any number between 6 and 617 or this blue line, any chance you can get in between here and the average, you have a chance of making profit because it may actually climb back up. But that's why I don't do it anymore. I rather just have a small red than to average in and you know, in this case it does look like it's going to go to 6.3, doesn't it? But this has a lot to do with the wind, guys. There's no telling if you keep thinking it's going to be like this, someday it's going to get you really bad, because it doesn't always work that way, because it depends on how the wind is blowing, you know. And that's just my analysis of this. But it does look like it does want to rethink about the 6.30, because where else is it going to go? Look how deep this red candle was. So of course it'll be great. It'll be great to come back up here, and then, you know, it can decide later if it's going to want to come back down or go back all the way up to the 6.30. You know, it's really a toss. The chances of success has lessened. Still probably over 50%. So I'd much rather have a red day, have it come all the way down to this pivot, and maybe think about entering here. In which case it wouldn't be a revenge trade. It still looks good. If you look at the 15, I mean, the extension down to here still looks kind of good. So, you know, get stopped out down to here and enter somewhere here. You would have been, you may be breaking even, or you still could be red. But in the end, you did what you're supposed to do, and that's what matters most. Tilio asks, can you quickly describe how you use the SPY wind when trading? Sure. Basically, the SPY is the SPY's movement is a compilation of all of the big stock movements. So in essence, the SPY creates sympathy plays with a lot of stocks. Not all stocks, but some of the stocks. So you can tell here that there is a little bit of a correlation between the two. This is the 5-minute chart, by the way. But you saw how this goes down and this went down. This went up and this went up. So now it's kind of within the, how do you say, it's within its grasp. Whatever the SPY is telling it what to do, it's going to do, regardless of what it wants to do. So hopefully later on, this stock will start moving the way it should want to go, instead of sympathizing towards the movement of the SPY, more or less. So whenever things are really strong, they just say SPY is moving up, and there's a stock that's moving down. That is the stock that you want to watch. Of course, you want to figure out why it's going the opposite direction, because it could be a sector like banks, like yesterday, that just doesn't want to cooperate. But yesterday, Roku and Twitter, they worked fine because they weren't in direct firing zone of COVID, you know. So if you chose those stocks and it's going its own direction, regardless of the SPY, then it's strong enough to be able to counter any kind of wind. That, I mean, it's basically you're a power runner, you know, you're Usain Bolt in a hurricane, and you're going to run your direction, and when it turns around, because it decided to calm down, then it'll turn around on its own, instead of listening to where the wind is blowing. Mikey Stocks, I like your name. Can you post a link to share the setup for your Thinkorswim workplace? I don't think you want to copy my Thinkorswim. I mean, if you could see, it's just a bunch of charts. It's really nothing. Just open up a chart and if you're asking about all these lines here, it's the 9 EMA. It's the, if you go to studies here, you can go to quick studies or add studies and see how complicated this is. Look at all this crap. So look at moving averages. Where is it? Oh, down here. Moving averages, and then there's exponential right here. If you go to that, then you automatically get the 9-minute moving average. For the purple line and the channel, that's going to be the VWAP. The VWAP I use sometimes. Everybody uses the VWAP, so I use it because because of that. And sometimes it is important, especially whenever Jeremy likes to use it as a crossing area. When the VWAP and the moving average cross, then it does signal movement. So VWAP is generally just VWAP. Where is it? Where is it? Quick studies. There it is, VWAP. So if you click on that, then you get the VWAP. And that's basically it, guys. And on the sides here, you can get rid of your news and level 2. And this is where you get your chart and time of sales. So here's a blank chart with volume. And I like to run the time and sales because it's more concise than the TradeNet that I use every now and then. And the live news is better than TradeNet's. It's the same as Lightspeed's, and the level 2 is to identify if I'm being punked by TradeNet, but I don't need it. But just because the news and level 2 share the bottom row, I have it there anyways. Chanel has asked, do you ever add to the loser and your loss gets out of control and have to sell for a big loss at the end? Yeah, I do. That's where counter trend is at its weakest. If I end up having to add, and that's why you saw those 2 big losers on the banks, because I generally don't risk $500. I risk at most $200 twice, and that's what happened. That would have been $400 with a little bit of slippage that made $500 total. So yeah, you'll see it right here. I know I've been attacked because you can always use average true range, but this is faster for me, guys. I have this right here, the stops, and this will tell me that if I really like what I see, then I'm going to risk $200. And depending on the stop loss, how low the stop is or how high the stop is, say you're about to enter a trade and it's 50 cents away from the very high or very low, then you're going to risk 400 shares, and if it goes wrong, then you're going to be out $200 roughly. So I did those twice on 2 banks, and both of them didn't go. So that was a pretty big hit. But I didn't actually average. I just got out twice. If I did average down, it's very possible that I could have still had the same outcome, I think. You're at 620? That's not bad. I think you have a fighting chance right now, because if you look at the volume's dead. That suggests 2 things, both of which won't help you. I mean, one helps you and one doesn't. I mean, right now it's flatlined, so it could actually break even for you. For me, I would just exit at 0. But you know, it does look like it could go back up to 630, doesn't it? So I'll just keep my stop at low a day. Kobe Joe asked, does time of sales impact your decision making very much? And honestly, not really. But because it moves so fast, right? The tape moves so fast, I don't know how people do it. I used to stare at it a lot. Basically, I just see a stream of green and red. And if I ever see a volume spike, then I want to go back to the tape if I have a chance to see if it was just a fat finger. Basically one sale, or one yeah, one size that just ruined the volume. Then that means nothing to me, really. Although if I may be the only one of the few that actually sees that fat finger, and it still affects the movement of the stock because the chart sees that volume. More or less, if it's everybody throwing all their shares in, then you're going to see movement. You're going to see an effect, and so you'll see that time of sales just start running, the tape running really fast, and that's when I have some. It has an impact on my trading, because the way I was taught is the level 2 is what people are thinking about, and the tape is what actually happens, right? So if the level 2 shows the wall, whenever there's huge numbers on the side, then we know that there's a big resistance of either the stock is going to break through that wall, or is it going to stay. And the tape will tell you. Once it breaks through, then that thing starts ripping, flying really fast, and that's when you know either you need to get out or you need to jump in to follow that surge. So they kind of correlate, but I don't look at the numbers as, they're just too small. Yeah, you're welcome, Mikey. Stocks. Chanel, worst case, I just hold it till next week. Sounds like a plan. I never really bothered looking at. It does look like it's looking to channeling upwards, though, doesn't it? RIM. For how many years have you been trading? Do you ever lost an account? Yeah, I lost one account. Have you ever been? I've been trading since high school. My dad taught me when I was in high school. Basically, typical Asian parent makes you do all the boring stuff. He gave me a scanner, and he made me find all the trend lines for him within of all the stocks that fit his parameter for swing trading. In which case, I learned pretty quickly how to find the trend lines. Before, it was just a bunch of lines that I made a zebra out of. No, actually, lines go this way, so it's not a zebra. But you get the idea. It just ended up being a bunch of lines until he started telling me what's important and what's not, and then I started finding out exactly what he was looking for. Because scanners don't find all the right stocks for you. You need to find it for him, or I needed to find it for him. So once I found the right stocks, then I find the right lines. That was all in high school. In which case, he decided to hand me the wheel for a few, maybe half a year to a year, and then I got an education degree, got married, and then retired from teaching early because I had something going on up there. They thought it was something called a tortuous carotid artery, and then retired, and then I started trading again. Trading is not something I fully enjoy doing. It's just something I'm just kind of good at, unfortunately. So whenever I had a chance, I did what I wanted to, which was train dogs. So now that I'm stuck at home, back to trading. but what I also enjoy is teaching. So I replace all my dogs for you guys, more or less. So yeah, I'm not bad at it, but it's not exact. And I think a lot of it has the fact that I don't find this to be a game. It really benefits my psychology. The fact that I don't find full entertainment or an adrenaline rush anymore, and the fact that I fear the market, I'm always in the defensive, makes me a better trader now than before. But in high school, I was very successful in trading because I didn't care about the money. So it wasn't exactly a gamble, but I also understood how to play hardcore games like Diablo 2 in hardcore, where in which if you died, you spent 2 months on a character, and if you died, you had to start all over, right? So it's the same concept in trading. You don't have room to F up. So you play hard. And it was easy because when you're in high school, it's not even your money. So the psychology was cut out. So if you can imagine, you have found yourself a narcissist with an analytical mind, and you throw them into stock trading, they may do pretty darn good because their serotonin levels and adrenaline is not quite normal. So hence, teenager. So that taught me really quickly how to trade. But when I got older and became married, it got a lot more difficult. I started understanding the value of money, and I have a video about that. But I know I'm ranting now, but sorry about that. Yeah, I have a video about that if you want to see it. Where is it? Sorry about that. Let me see. It was way back when. There it is. So I tried several times to teach some people, and I was successful on some of them, but the majority of people that fail are always too cluttered in the mind, psychologically. They couldn't figure out how to battle their losses correctly. But if you know how to win and you know how to lose, then you're going to do okay. For the most part, most people do okay with the winning, but do horribly at the losing because their ego and the fact they're not at the percentage they want to be is getting in the way. So yeah, still guys, it's been 30 minutes and my scanner's quiet. Let's see what happened to US 50. It did pretty good. It did a fade, didn't it? It went all the way up and it faded down. That would have been kind of sweet, except in the morning when it does something like this, it's at first a breakout, right? Can you guys see that? Okay. So it broke out here and now it's come back down to this support area. And not my kind of trade. Eddie's Payton.
UGAS.
UGAS is gas. That's has been moving pretty. I rarely ever hear DGAS and UGAS show up, but it showed up yesterday. This was yesterday. You can tell why. And then today is tanking again. But it's not a clean move, as you can see. But it is definitely a nice scalp for some people. The way it just kind of ramps up and it falls down. And today it's going straight down. But it's a sector, you know, it's a sector that is getting hit from this scenario we're in. So yeah, guys, I'm starting to ramble again. So I know when to head out. So if you don't see me later on today, it's because I'm either working on the scanner video or the series for a beginner trader, or there's really nothing else to do right now to trade.
You
So
guess.
take it easy, guys. If you like me to continue streaming, be sure to subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Take care. All right, be safe. Bye. Wash your hands.